The dog was pulling the owner at full speed, but Jack shouted excitedly. He didn't expect that this shout would cause an avalanche. Seeing that something was wrong, Jack immediately told Buck to turn left, but Buck relied on his own keen insight and quickly observed the surroundings, then led the team to turn right, seeing that they were about to be buried by the avalanche. At the critical moment, Buck led the team into the cave. Finally, Buck led the team out of the cave and left the avalanche far behind. In this way, under Buck's leadership, they delivered the mail on time. The next second, this was also the first time Jack delivered the mail on time in his career, but they delivered not only mail, they delivered life, and hope and love, and the longing of loved ones and relatives for their family. The next day they set off again. At this time, Buck found an old man holding an envelope. He immediately stopped, causing Jack to fall down. Jack asked him what was going on. It turned out that the old man's son's birthday was in a few days. He wanted to send a letter to his wife to express his longing. Buck took the envelope from the old man's hand. Then the sled team set off again. From then on, the sled team also became famous, and became the people's sustenance. Until this day, Jack suddenly received a letter. With the progress of the times, the letter had been replaced by a telegram, so the sled team was also disbanded. For the sake of life, Jack sold the sled team, although he was reluctant. But now there was no need for sleds to send letters. Jack could only find other jobs to make a living. Finally one day, a businessman wearing a red coat came. He spent a lot of money to buy the sled team, but when the sled team was ready to go, they found that they couldn't pull it no matter how hard they tried. The dogs exerted all their strength, but the sled didn't move at all. The owner thought they were slacking off, and was about to teach the dogs a lesson with a wooden stick, when an old man stopped him. Then he told the owner of the dogs, the bottom of the sled was frozen. Then he took a wooden stick and pried open the bottom of the sled. The old man could tell at a glance that the other party was a gold digger, and kindly reminded him that spring was coming. The snow had begun to melt. Going to dig for gold now was like going to die. But the gold digger only had money in his eyes. He didn't care about these, and still chose to take the risk, because of the melting snow. Without the snow to support the sliding, the sled team got stuck on a slope and couldn't move forward. At this time, the big yellow dog couldn't hold on and fell down. In an instant the team slid down the hillside. Fortunately Buck stabilized the car with his strong limbs, but the inhuman gold digger took out a whip, and whipped the dogs behind. Seeing the whip hit his companions, but it hurt in Buck's heart. Buck had no other choice, but to grit his teeth and move on, until they came to a river. Buck had no strength left. The gold digger lifted him to the front, then kicked Buck down with one foot. When he took out a gun and was about to kill Buck, the old man appeared again. It turned out that the old man was worried and secretly followed. He scolded the gold digger loudly.
Dog is trying to help you keep your life.
Finally the old man saved Buck, and the rest of the dogs had to continue to work for the gold digger. The dogs were reluctant to see Buck lying on the ground. They knew that this might be goodbye forever. The next day Buck finally woke up. He came to the old man's side, but found that the snow had begun to melt, and his dog companions might have died by now. Buck could only howl helplessly at the sky. At night the old man drank sullenly, looking at his son's photo. Buck knew that drinking was bad for his health, so he knocked over the wine glass. Seeing the old man go to pick up the wine glass, Buck took the opportunity to take away the wine bottle, then buried the wine bottle in the snow, and sat on it. The old man wanted to drink, but couldn't push Buck away no matter how hard he tried. The old man had to give up, and sat on the ground with a helpless face. Then he told Buck, today was his son's birthday. Because of an accident, he lost his son. Soon his wife divorced him. Now he was left alone. Hearing this, Buck walked to the old man's side. The stars tonight were especially bright. This scene seemed like a painting. The old man and the dog. The next day the old man took out a map. He put the map on the ground, and gestured Buck to come and see, and told Buck he decided to fulfill his son's wish before he died, to go to the end of the map, a place where no one had ever set foot. Soon a man and a dog set off on a wooden boat. They crossed the mountains and rivers, passed through a small river full of fish, saw birds flying in the sky, and saw fireflies shining. Finally a man and a dog came to the end of the map. This was a place where no one had ever set foot. Here he found a wooden house, although it was dusty and dilapidated inside, but after the old man cleaned and repaired it, they settled down here. The next day the old man was bathing. He seemed to find something under the water. He held his breath and dived down. When he took the thing out of the water, he looked excitedly at the thing in front of him. It was a piece of gold. Buck also learned to pick up a stone, but the old man told him this kind was gold, but the dog's eyes only had black and white. The ignorant Buck dived down again. The next second, the dog found something in the water, so he dived in. He picked up a large piece of gold. Seeing that his master ignored him, he thought it was a common stone, and threw it back into the water. Then he found a small piece.
That's more like it, Buck.
He got his master's approval after he confirmed it was gold. If his master knew he picked up sesame and lost watermelon, he would be furious. Just then, Buck saw a white animal running by. His master figured out what it was, so he agreed to let Buck go and see.
Go take a look.
Buck followed it into the forest. Suddenly a bear appeared in front of him. Buck, who had never seen a bear, was about to approach, but the bear roared at him, facing the fierce bear. Buck had to go around. Buck followed the smell to the depths of the forest. At this time, the white wolf also noticed him. He slowly approached Buck, but Buck was scared and stayed still. Looking at such a beautiful white wolf, Buck swallowed his saliva. Then he slowly reached out his hand, but he startled the white wolf. In this way, the white wolf became Buck's secret crush. After returning, Buck got lovesick. No matter how his master teased him, he was indifferent. The next day, when his master woke up, he couldn't find Buck.
Buck!
It turned out that Buck ran away early in the morning to track the white wolf. Like a lick dog, he watched the white wolf from a distance. At this time, the wolf pack was hunting a wild boar. The old wolf was about to hunt. Suddenly, he fell into the river by accident. The wolf pack didn't have time to save the old wolf and he was washed away by the rapids, just when the old wolf was in danger. Fortunately, he was blocked by a dead wood and didn't get washed away. When the wolf pack arrived, they were helpless in this situation. They could only stand on the shore and worry. Just then Buck arrived in time. He first bit the branch with his teeth, trying to pull him up, but the next second, the branch was bitten off. No way. Buck had to think of another way. He used his strong body to carry the dead wood to the shore. This saved the old wolf's life. At this moment, Buck's behavior impressed the wolf pack. From then on, Buck joined the wolf pack and learned how to hunt. A chicken today, a fish tomorrow. Buck followed the wolf pack and slowly integrated into nature. But Buck always came back at midnight. His master also found out the clues. The next morning, the white wolf came to find Buck to go out and play. His master wanted to check what Buck had been doing lately, so he agreed to Buck. Watching the distant figure, his master secretly followed behind. When he came to a hillside, he found that Buck had already blended in with the wolf pack. He found his own kind. His master knew he should go back. So the next day he started packing, ready to return to human life. He threw all the gold he had picked up these days into the river, only left a little for himself, enough for his later life. Then he said goodbye to Buck. Let Buck go find the wolf pack. Return to nature. Just the night before leaving, the old man suddenly heard something outside the door, so he took a lamp and went out to check. The next second, Buck, who was sleeping with the wolf pack, suddenly heard a gunshot. The old man hid in the house and dared not make a sound. He saw a man with a long gun walk by. The old man slowly walked to the door. He slammed the door shut. He grabbed the other's long gun. It turned out to be the gold digger. He didn't die. As the two struggled, the gold digger opened the safety. He shot the old man in the abdomen. Then he asked the old man where the gold was hidden. The old man took out all the gold from his pocket, threw it to the gold digger's side. The gold digger who got the gold still wanted to kill him. Just then Buck suddenly appeared. He pounced and bit off the long gun. Then he used his strong body to knock the gold digger into the burning house. Soon the house collapsed. The gold digger was burned to death. Then Buck used his strong body to lift up the old man. At this time, the old man was shot in the abdomen and dying. In this way, the old man fell into a long sleep in Buck's arms. He stayed here forever. Not long after, Buck became the leader of the wolf pack and gave birth to several dog babies. From then on, Buck ruled the peace of a forest.